For almost 4 decades, the U.S. has conducted refugee resettlement as a public-private partnership that has never been subject to party politics. This year, though, 2 of the largest resettlement agencies, the International Rescue Committee and HIAS, say they have not yet been consulted by the State Department, the Department of Homeland Security or the White House regarding refugee admissions. The State Department declined to respond to the resettlement agency's assertion, citing internal deliberations. It's very unclear how the administration is making policy, particularly on refugee issues, because it's not being made consulting with the organizations and experts who have always been a part of this process, says Melanie Nezer, Senior Vice President of Public Affairs at HIAS. Typically, the effort is spearheaded by the State Department and brings together stakeholders such as the Permanent Mission to the United Nations, the Department of Defense and the National Security Council, which have in the past been sympathetic to the plight of refugees. But this year, those who may hold views contrary to the dominant position in the White House are being marginalized, says International Rescue Committee's Senior Director of Policy and Advocacy, Anna Green. According to the New York Times, Stephen Miller, the president's senior advisor for policy and an immigration hardliner, has been pressing for a lower ceiling. Green says the lack of communication this year and the dramatic slowdown imposed by the emergency travel ban prompted the IRC to issue an unprecedented shadow report, lobbying for the admissions ceiling to be at least 75,000. We had no confidence the report to Congress would have any relevant facts in it, she says. The report cites the current and largest refugee crisis on record, leaving 22.5 million in peril across the world. Citing risks well beyond humanitarian concerns, the report warns that backing away from America's legacy of commitment to refugees will have devastating consequences for foreign policy and security abroad. Obviously, 75,000 is not our desired number, it's very much a pragmatic choice, says Green. After numerous stops and starts resulting from travel ban litigation and various procedural changes, the system has endured dramatic backlogs in refugee processing. Still, it is not only the numbers that are worrisome. It's what comes in practice and simple procedural changes done in the name of national security rather than strict policy or law, says Newman. In August, the president endorsed the RAISE Act, which would prioritize English speakers and put further emphasis on education and skill level to create a merit-based immigration system and end the visa diversity lottery, which awards 50,000 green cards a year. These people have been through years of invasive interviews, clearances, and forms where every last detail is scrutinized until they step onto the plane, says Nezer. For that process to end with "nothing's changed with you but we've changed as a country," what does that say about us that we treat people that way? Our identity and leadership in the world has taken a big hit.